Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today we got to talk more natural gas. So the most recent news to come out is that the city of San Jose, which is the 10th largest city in the United States, has decided to ban natural gas on new construction, multifamily homes, single family homes, and low rises, what appears to be lower than 7 stories in height. Now this is huge because they're not just talking about it. Seattle's just been talking about it and they're gonna vote this fall, I just found out. But with San Jose, they just voted and it passed, and they can enact these new laws starting in 2020. So very, very soon this will be rolling out. Now with such a large city adopting such a radical position, radical in terms of what the rest of the country feels and how they view this, it sort of sends a shockwave and ripples out to all other cities in the United States to just start making them think, I don't know, maybe we should do this. And I'm curious to know if San Jose's voting and their action right now will encourage or push Seattle in the direction of voting in favor of banning natural gas. Now, high rises and restaurants and different businesses in San Jose can still have natural gas. This is just applying to new family dwellings, new family homes, single family homes, and the low rises below the 7 stories. Now, San Jose is the most populous city in terms of electric vehicles. People have really jumped on electric vehicles and seen the potential of limiting their carbon footprint. And the infrastructure in San Jose has really grown. So with these new properties, when you develop a multifamily home, an apartment complex, anything of this matter in San Jose moving forward, you have to have 20% of your parking lot area wired and ready and in place for plugging in electric vehicles. And then they said 70% of the parking area has to be wired and ready for future production of plug-in spots for these electric vehicles. So currently, Berkeley and Menlo Park, both in the Bay Area, are the only 2 cities who have banned natural gas already. They've already moved past it. They're already on to other things right now, and with regards to new construction, family homes, and businesses. So it seemed a little fringe because these are very blue liberal areas, so it makes sense that they might adopt a few of these things. And then to have Seattle come online and say, okay, we're also thinking about it, kind of made sense. We thought, okay, they're a larger city, they're thinking about it. But then to have San Jose, the 10th largest city in the country, come in and just say, we've already done it, we voted, it was unanimous. The 10 members on their board all voted in favor of it. The mayor's in favor of it, a big advocate for moving away from carbon-based energy sources. And now it's got to really make people think about this. And I know that it gets into, well, California has more sun and other parts of the country do not. And that's true. So whether or not stuff like this spreads, we don't know. Based on geography, you either have a lot of sun or you don't. But it's just interesting to see such a populous area make such a big decision that could have a huge impact on the health of our country. So San Jose's specific goal that they put in place is to make all their residential buildings within the city carbon neutral by 2020, which is obviously next year. So that's where all this comes from. And then they're looking at making all commercial buildings carbon neutral by the year 2030, so only 10 years out. So pretty aggressive plans, but really encouraging and exciting for the city of San Jose. Now, as this stuff starts to mount and build and gain steam, if it does gain steam moving forward, what's that gonna mean for natural gas and the futures market and trading our UGAZ and DGAZ? Is that going to have a significant effect? I think right now the answer to that is no, but moving forward, if more large cities start to sign on, and I think that the next most likely city could be the city of Los Angeles, which would be massive. Again, in California, again, with a lot of sun, so solar is a more viable opportunity for them. But these are big cities and they're getting on board, and this could start pushing and encouraging other areas into Nevada, into Utah, into New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming. These are sunshine states. Wyoming, Colorado, they say 300 plus days a year of sunshine. So it just depends on how things go. And as technology improves, could this make it more possible for less sunny states to move forward with something like this? Please drop your comments below. I want to jump into the charts now. I want to take a look at what UGAZ and DGAZ is currently up to. I want to show the /NG futures market because we are continuing to see a pullback. And I want to show you that and show you where the 50 simple moving average seems to be converging or moving up closer to price action. So with that, let's jump into the charts. All right, why don't we jump into this here? We've got /NG, which is the natural gas futures, up on the daily chart, and we're zoomed out. We're looking at things. We've been doing this every day. We've been really getting into this content. It's been awesome watching /NG. As I zoom in closer here, you can see this is where we broke out, and we've just been running and popping. Hurricane Dorian, all these issues have been pushing us up, and now here we are. We talked about this last week, this 200 simple moving average, and you can see natural gas, we're now bumping into it and getting rejected off of it slowly. So right now, DGAZ is having a day, and let me flip over there and let's just take a quick peek at it. But let's see. So DGAZ is showing this little curl back to the upside. So it's not big for DGAZ, but it is present. And with /NG, we were hypothesizing last week that we would get a touch off this 200 simple moving average and then move away from it. Some sort of possible pullback. Now, we did have this big gap up, and I did have someone comment about could it possibly fill that gap to the downside. And we were talking about how, yes, it possibly could, and at the bottom of that gap fill, that might be a great place to then consider going long. So that gap is basically 2.62, and we're right now at 2.635. So we're getting very close to filling that gap on /NG, which could be very interesting. Now, the thing to think about moving forward is as we touch the bottom of this gap, and when I say gap, I just mean from the top of this candle, this one gapped up here, so that was the gap up to fill, and we've spent 2 days now filling back down. We did fill it all the way, but then we tucked back up and closed. So we do have a little bit of room to fill on this from right about here to right there at 2.62. Now, if we do bottom there, this could be very interesting because now we're pinned between the bottom of that gap and this 200 simple moving average. So we could see a little bit of range-bound activity right here, tightening up, tightening up, tightening up, and then a big pop up or a big pop down. We could get some consolidation in here. So we're going to have to really watch that, and I'm going to actually put a little line in here just so we can kind of keep track of this. It's going to be really interesting seeing it move forward, but right now we're going to watch between this line and this 200 simple moving average and see if we get range bound. If we do, that coiling is going to create a little volatility and a little bit of strength, and then it'll just be up to any event that may come along. You know, if a storm comes along, or if there's another attack, or there's a shortage, any push in either direction could cause a pretty violent reaction if we do coil in here. So really watch that carefully. And when I say coil, I'm just meaning kind of along these lines right there, following that 200 SMA and staying firm at this support level here if we hold it, which is the bottom of this gap that we've just now filled to the downside. So I would watch that really closely moving forward. Now, what I mentioned was the 50 simple moving average. Why am I watching that? It's something I've been comfortable with trading in the past. I like getting bounces off the 50, and what we've noticed historically is that natural gas likes to come up and touch the 50 and move away. Come up, touch the 50, move away. Now that we've broken above, ideally we would move back down, touch the 50, and then continue up. So I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that we'll come back, touch the 50, and by that time we're starting to see a little cooler weather. We're starting to get people turn on their heaters, using their natural gas going into colder season, into fall, and see if that brings our prices back to the upside as we touch that simple moving average, that 50. So moving forward, we'll just watch that. Now in terms of UGAZ, we may as well just take a peek while we're here. You can see we've got that push up, pull back, push up, and now we're getting a pullback. So I'm watching these moving averages, the 50, here's the 20, but primarily I like to watch the 50 simple moving average. As we start to curl up, if we get a little touch and go, that's going to be an ideal entry spot for me. Again, just my opinion, but that would be a spot where I'd feel more comfortable entering UGAZ. I put out a poll on YouTube this morning, and it just says how many of you have a position in UGAZ and how many of you don't.
So go down into the community section, or if you're on mobile, check out in your feed the posts from taking trades and answer that poll. I just want to know how many of you are holding a position in UGAZ right now. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to town, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you tomorrow.